welcome to another process video. I'm just showing you some bits and pieces that I've pulled here. A couple of circle punches. One's a scalloped circle punch and one's just a plain circle punch. I'm not sure what sizes they are. They're a small size, I know that much. And I'm just showing you this Allison Craft for Webster's Pages 6x6 paper pad and giving you a bit of a look at the papers in here. And I think that pad is called Composition and Colour. So I wanted to challenge myself with this layout to use one paper pad and one piece of cardstock and use the elements on the paper pad as part of the embellishments on the pages. So, you know, there are times in our life where we can't always afford to go out and buy all of the embellishments, and nor do we need to. So in this layout I wanted to show you what you could do to remedy that problem sometimes that we all have when we don't have the finances to buy exactly what we want. I can't say that I absolutely loved the end result of this layout. That would be lying. But you know, I don't hate it, but it's probably my least favourite layout that I have made for a long time. So yeah, anyway, we will let you see what I've done, and you will see that it's not too bad, and perhaps you might even really like it. But all I've done there is get a piece of white cardstock and I've trimmed it down a little bit and I've matted it to a piece of paper that I had in my stash, a black piece with little tiny spots on it. And already at the side I spent time beforehand so the video wouldn't be too long, and I cut apart all those little 6x6 sheets that you saw me show you previously, so just a little bit earlier. And I'm trying to work out a way that I might be able to layer them up or incorporate them into this layout. So I have punched a few circles and used the scallop punch as well, and I have got a few little bits of paper that I have cut into strips and a couple of little banners. And I'm sorry that it's out of frame a little bit. The bottom isn't quite in, so I think that my tripod has moved a little bit and I'm not aware of it, so I can't actually see the video while I'm recording, and it's not until I've got to this stage that I realise it's not actually in the full frame. So I'm really sorry about that, and you know, you'll get a good view later on anyway, so you'll be able to see what's down there. So I'm just layering up some papers. I loved that paper on the left hand side, the photo of all the little chalks or crayons in a box, lots of different colours, the pretty pinks and greens and blues. So it's just a gorgeous patterned paper to use. It was a really nice little collection, so I thought I would use it up. And this is a photo of my friend Nat and her family. So that is for Al and Anastasia to the right, and Trinity the next one, and the boy is Fonny. So you've seen me make a few layouts with my friend's family, and so this is continuing on doing some layouts for her. So that's what that is. So it's not me. I wish it was me because she's beautiful, and not saying that I'm not, but you know what I mean. So anyway, back to the layout, just sticking things down. So I have committed that, you know, that photo mat is going to work for me, and I have pulled out some nice greens from this collection, and I have used those as Anastasia has some lovely greens and yellows in her dress. So just playing with all the little elements and trying to work out where to place things. So I know that I want to put some few darker elements in there because Fonnie has a black jacket on, and so does Trinity. She has a black top part of her dress, and so I want to pull in some darker elements as well as the pastel elements. So I thought it only needs just a little bit of a strip there, and it doesn't need too much. So I made a little banner and have put that there. I think I've stuck it down, and just tucking some pieces behind. So still trying to do my normal layering where I add little pieces and tuck some pieces behind. And grabbing a few of the little circular elements that I've made as well. So still trying to move things around the page a little bit, and cutting. I've cut some little elements out, so the little typewriter there on that little speech bubble to the right, that was in the 6x6 paper pad. So all of the papers were purely the pad, and I've cut little pieces out and tried to use them as best as I could. And that that particular paper pad had one page with little tiny cutouts in it anyway, so that made it a little bit easier. So all those tiny little square pieces, they were from the cutout page from that paper pad. So I'm wanting to put a little cluster element up to the top right as well. And there was a couple of little strips in there that I was able to cut out and use. And sometimes just doing this can be a process of, a couple of days if you're short on time, of just looking through a paper pad and seeing, or even the 12 by 12 collection, and just seeing what elements on there you could fussy cut out or punch with your punches or dies, and do that one day while you're watching TV or just relaxing, and cut all those bits and pieces out and save them for when you have time to actually sit down and do your layout. So it'll help you to save some time and put it all together that way, because this one did take me much longer than normally. So as you can see, this video is a little bit longer, and it probably took me an extra 10 minutes or 15 minutes on top of what I would normally do, because of the cutting and or the cutting that I did and the punching. Took me a bit longer to pull it together. So like I said, it's not my most favourite layout, but I don't hate it. But a challenge is a challenge, and when I challenge myself to scrapbook in a certain way, I don't always expect that it's going to be easy, because if it was easy, I guess it wouldn't be called a challenge, and challenges are there to stretch us and to push us beyond our comfort zones. And I think sometimes, I find it easy to create pages with what I know works for me, and nothing is wrong with that, because that's scrapbooking to my strength. But sometimes I like to challenge myself to work with things that I wouldn't normally work with, or do what I wouldn't normally do, just to see what I come up with, and to see whether it can be done. And that way then when you're encouraging other people to scrapbook, you can help them as well and give them some ideas of cost-saving things to do, or just different techniques to try. So that was the whole idea behind this, was to have a budget-saving page and to do something a little bit different. So you can see there that I've added those circular elements around the page, sort of scattered them around a little bit, and so they were cut with the paper punch. And then I also add some buttons for the circular elements as well, but the buttons add a little bit more texture and dimension as well because they're not so flat. And I pull out some brads, so there's some brads there from Dear Lizzie from one of her collections, and I add them to the pages as well. So they are usually touching something or overlapping another little circle to help them all connect together so that they're not all just floating around the page. And it's nearing to completion, and I got to one stage just after I put the ink down. I thought that I was finished, and I walked away from my craft room for a few hours, and when I came back and I looked at the layout, I realized that it hadn't finished for me and I wanted to add a little bit extra. So I will let you know when that is going to happen. So sometimes, you know, we finish and we go away, and when we come back we can see another little area that we could add something or do something different to. And you know, that's a good thing sometimes, because sometimes we get stuck when we're just there looking and can't quite figure a way out of a layout if it's not really working for us. And just coming back with fresh eyes can help us to add something else. So here I am. No, sorry about that. Thought I was adding my black ink, but I'm actually just sticking the buttons and the circular elements down. So just having a bit of a look. At least now you can see the whole layout's in frame, and I'm adding the black splatters at this stage, thinking that I'm done, and I turn it off, and here's the next day. So the next day I have a look and I want to add some more black to the layout. So I've added family, so I didn't have a title on here, and then I added family, the word family, with some thickers, and I'm adding a rub-on, which is a little sort of triangle pattern along the bottom there and at the piece of paper at the top. So that just brings that black into it more and gives it a title and just helps the page to flow a little bit more. I think then it felt like it was finished for me, and I was happy to call it quits and say that it was done. So the rub-ons were from Kaiser Craft. They were an old lot that I had in my stash from a boy collection and that I hadn't used. So it was a good opportunity to work from my stash and to not have to buy anything new and to get rid of a few things. So even though it was only 2 little strips, it wasn't really getting rid of a lot, but at least I used some from my stash. So I'm going to have a bit of a look and see whether I like it, and I'm going to call it quits, and I'll give you a close-up. So thank you for joining me today, and I appreciate you visiting with me again, and thank you for all of your kind comments and all of your encouragement. You guys are awesome, and I really appreciate you stopping by and leaving your comments and your thumbs up, and for subscribing. Alright, well, I'll see you next time. Bye!